Hi everybody, how's it going? Welcome back. And today I would like to talk about two of my biggest accomplishments. There's two things that actually stand out in my life, maybe not for others, but for myself. And those are two things that I decided in a moment, and they were very, very sudden, abrupt in my life, and that I took on completely. I put my whole heart on it, and I was somehow able to create a habit out of nothing and completely invest myself into it. So the two things are basically, for those who you are good guessers, they're veganism, and the other one is pretty much learning Chinese. All right. So that you get a kind of a context of it. I'm always like starting things and dropping them pretty much. And for veganism and for Chinese learning, they are like big things. All right. I mean, if you're serious enough, learning Chinese is a big thing, and completely changing your life, your diet one day and sort of forever, um, in a matter of hours, is also kind of a big thing. I mean, I'm not saying that it's impossible or too difficult. I'm just saying that it's something that I didn't expect I would be able to do. And of course, I think none of it has anything to do with willpower. And I gotta stress that because that's the whole point of this video. I was able to make a change in an instant, pretty much. Because in that instant, my inner world, the way I explain the world to myself, had a big change. And from there, new kinds of emotions, new kinds of thought patterns, new kinds of desires, and new kinds of ways of looking at myself emerged. And so naturally, there's all sort of actions and habits that flow from that. And well, the two things that happened were actually that I discovered, and with veganism, I discovered what was happening to the environment because of veganism. And it was through a documentary on that TV that my girlfriend at the time recommended to me. So of course I had some preparation, like she was vegetarian, sort of vegan for a while, so I was eating with her a few times. I was kind of familiarizing myself a little bit with just the sort of the how to say, the ethical part of it, like just being more compassionate to these animals. But oftentimes I would just put it aside, like most people do around me, which is so frustrating, to be honest with you. But in the moment that actually, there was something in the documentary I watched, Cowspiracy, that really touched my heart in a way. And that was basically that my identity, I think, was at risk. Because I had always considered myself an environmentalist, and that show, that documentary was telling me, you can't be an environmentalist at all unless you're vegan. And I really believed it, and I believed it on an emotional level. It was not only something intellectual, kind of I understand, it was something in my heart. And the moment that that was set, the whole thing reconfigured, and then everything about being vegan became completely easy and automatic. I could not crave anything else that was not vegan. I could not care about looking bad. I could not care about the discussions. I could not care about anything because I had completely closed the doors to doing anything different. And if what I'm just trying to say is that wouldn't it be awesome if we could actually access that sort of power, that transformative power, to using all sorts of other habits and kind of changes we want to make in our lives. So that's why I'm kind of studying my own self. Maybe you could do the same too with some of the things. And when it comes to Chinese, well, it was also quite remarkable because I had the preparation of learning English and liking it a lot and kind of linking this good ability with languages to my identity too, right? So I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, the series, not the awful movie, of course. And I watched it. I watched it when I was very young, very little, and then I watched it 4 years ago. And that time, I kind of did like a marathon of it, like just watched about 5 episodes a day or more, probably more. Did it in over 5 days or something, and I was completely blown away by the emotion that I assumed was the Asian spirituality kind of thing. So that blew me so much that I was like, I need to get inside of this. I made some numbers and said, hey, Chinese makes sense because there's a lot of people who speak it. They're impacting the world, like the biggest that there actually is. They're all over the place. They really like their own language, and it's very inaccessible for others, right? So I thought it wasn't a waste of time on the practical sense of it, and it was also very interesting and deep. So I said, hey, let's just learn Chinese. I had said in the past that Chinese just sounded like a stupid, funny language, and that I wouldn't like speaking that language, because it just sounded like ding dong bang bang wah, and for some reason that was stupid for me. But everything changed from there, and even though everybody started pulling out stories out of nowhere, where people just gave up because Chinese is so difficult to learn, or so they said. What was interesting is how I had determined that I was going to learn the language, and it didn't matter how or how difficult it was. I was going to make it happen, right? I didn't say I wasn't going to fail at some things. I said, I will make it happen somehow. I don't care, because I love it. I want to do it. And it takes no willpower. And that's kind of the thing that I'm trying to say here. When it takes no willpower, when your inner world is restructured so that the only logical thing is to do that, the whole game is so much easier to play. And then you start doing things that seem crazy and awesome to other people, and sometimes to yourself. Because I remember I had this book, and it asked me to kind of make a comparison between 5 years ago, now, and 5 years in the future. When you compare yourself in some areas of your life that you give a score to, like health and happiness and connection, whatever. And I saw that I had improved in a lot of areas comparing myself to 5 years ago from that time. And I also had to write what I would like to be 5 years time. So I did that, and like 5 months later, a year later, I found the book, paper book, and I was just skimming through it, and I got to the things that I want to be in 5 years in the future. And there I said, apparently, I would really love to become a vegetarian. And it was projecting 5 years into the future. Now, I had picked this book, I don't know, like just a few months after I wrote it. And I was not only a vegetarian, I was a full vegan. And I was completely invested into it. And that was not going to change. So the level of pride that I felt back then was awesome. But I just wanted to stress that, because there you can see how much I actually didn't expect myself to have it easy on becoming vegetarian or even vegan. What I'm trying to say there is that maybe there is an easier path. There must be an easier path, because if I was able to do it so easily with those things, why can't I make it with other things, right? That's kind of the idea, the thesis of this video, and I hope you can take it home with you. Thanks for watching. There was a very long video, and I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next day, tomorrow. Bye-bye.